Welcome everybody to Sports Shorts. Ronnie Rants alongside Tommy Krysan. You don't normally see us in the same screen. Usually there's a two box action, but that's because we're over here at Tremonti's Meat and Seafood, and it's the day before Thanksgiving. Coming over here to Tremonti's to pick up some sides and dishes and all to bring to Lafayette for the Rance family to enjoy. What is the Krysan family getting at
I
Tremonti's?
got a big ham that's going to
Okay.
be all sliced up, taking it to my daughter's house. And they get the phone hasn't stopped. Limited lunch menu today. And there'll be hundreds of people here tomorrow morning picking up turkeys, hams, brisket, you
Yeah,
name it.
that's the cool thing is that it's not too late actually at Tremonti's. If by chance you're out there, you want to try some really good food, great sides. You don't even have to just go the traditional route of, turkey and ham. They got other stuff here. They're open tomorrow morning till about noon.
Well, 6:30 to 9:30.
6:30 to
Of
9:30.
course, tremendous selection of wine and liquor. Last minute, you got to bring something to somebody's house. I got some bourbon going with me to cover
Yeah, you
it.
can't show up empty-handed. You got to get over there and do it. All right, TK. A couple of things to get to today on Sports Shorts on this Thanksgiving week edition. You got a situation where the New Orleans Saints felt good about themselves. They get blown out. Well, not. I mean, I guess in that game, two touchdown beating is a blowout against the Falcons. Saints offense took a step backwards. The Taysom Hill experiment looks stale. I don't think Taysom's 100%. And when you don't have an offense that has any sort of deception to it, or other dynamic players where almost Taysom can surprise them, or it's like no, he gets the ball, they know the three plays he's going to do. That doesn't seem to be working. We'll talk about the New Orleans Saints and what they have next, which is the Dolphins this Sunday, which I'll be in attendance for that. I'm looking forward to that. Me and Louis Garcia will be there. I was asked not to wear Miami Dolphins colors, so I can't.
Got them
Not,
on
not me
today.
not to wear.
That's
No, I'm saying
almost
no, I'm saying
Dolphins.
not to wear Saints colors.
Okay.
Because we're sitting with Miami officials, and so I was asked not to wear Saints colors. So
Was that Louis asked you that, or your
no,
buddy that works for the
no,
Dolphins?
actually, Todd Boyan, who's the vice president of like operations for the Dolphins, and Matt Moore, who's vice president of community affairs, great wide receiver. Friends of mine, we play golf with them, go on golf trips, a lot of that type of stuff. Todd is the one that got Louis and I and his two boys tickets. And it was specifically, he asked him, "Hey, Ronnie, I'd like to put y'all in a really nice section with us, but we got front office people, we got maybe the owners there. Like, I can't have them in there with the Saint stuff on." So I said, "All right, no problem.
Well,
I'm
Rougarou
gonna go to
gear
Louisiana Sports Hall."
or Gumbo
Uh,
Gator, which we'll tell you about that in a minute.
but
But yeah, now the Saints made a transaction this week. Blake Grupe, who missed two field goals to the right, I think he's missed six of his last eight. He had a little streak at the beginning of the year. They're not satisfied with him, and you talk about their building for the future. Well, okay, they cut Grupe. He sent a nice message to the fans. Like I say, he can't wait to have another opportunity somewhere else. But they signed former LSU Tiger, national champion in 2019, Cade York, who was a fourth round pick of Cleveland in 2022. Cade York will be kicking for the Saints in Miami on Sunday.
glad to see Cade get another chance at it. He was drafted, which is something that doesn't happen very often for kickers. He was actually drafted as a big leg, just not as super consistent in the NFL. It shows how hard it was because he was automatic in college. But anyway, happy to see Cade York get another chance at a NFL roster. And it was time on Blake Grupe. How about Sean Payton once again outsmarting the Saints? He trades for, remember, it was Groupie and Lutz a couple
Right.
years ago. Sean Payton's first year in Denver. He knew that Groupie did well enough to where the Saints were willing to part with Lutz, who was scheduled to make a little more money. And Sean Payton traded like a seventh round pick or something and got Will Lutz. And it seems like every week Will Lutz kicks a game winning field goal.
He's still booting them
You
for the
know,
Broncos.
meanwhile, Groupie will be over here applying for a job at Tremonti's, where we are in Baton Rouge. LSU football, TK. You have done Tommy Christ saying due diligence work to find out. But this over/under LSU and Oklahoma, which right now is going down to 36.5, is the lowest you or I can find anywhere.
I looked up the game of the century. You referenced it the other day.
Yeah,
LSU
2011.
Bama over and under in that game was 40 or 41, depending on where you were shopping. So this game was 38.5 when we were on there Monday. Now it's 36.5. 36.5. The best we can find. I did the Chat GPT thing. There has never been a lower over and under total on an LSU game ever. An Oregon State game many years ago was 39, 40.
Yeah, 2004.
Yeah. So, but no. So anyway, so 36 and a
wild.
half. That's mind boggling.
That's wild. And like, I still like the under. I know that's ridiculous. I love the under at 38.5, but I like the under at 36.5 still. I don't have any confidence, Tommy, in this, in LSU scoring more than 10 points in this game.
I can't see, I think 13 is the absolute top that they end up getting, if they get some kind of short field or a scoop and score, something crazy like that. But, Oklahoma's got a whole lot to play for because they feel if they win, they're going to have a spot in the 12-team playoff. And I think they will if they win, especially if they win in convincing fashion. And a little bit depends on what else happens around the country. But Oklahoma, LSU's never played football in Norman. A couple of storylines, but 2:30 kick, which reminds us we got to tell people about this. We're on 12:30 to 2:30 this week, just on in Baton Rouge, and we'll be live at Papa Earl's Tailgate Festival by Point Marie in Baton Rouge. It's a couple blocks from the casino on River Road.
Yeah, and by the way, that event, the Papa Earl's Tailgate, is open to the public. It's
Right.
absolutely free, so they're encouraging you to come out anytime, at 11 o'clock on. And they're going to have a 25-foot TV to watch the games. They're going to have food, vendors, bands, all kinds of stuff right there next to LeBear's, the Papa Earl's Tailgate Festival at the front entrance to Point Marie, the neighborhood next to LeBear's Casino on River Road. So come on out. We'll be out there. The little guys you see from that do the ESPN set, the kids, they're doing their show out
Okay.
there as well at 10:30, 11, something like that. And so we'll actually interview the little fella who started
Okay.
that online. They kind of do a replica ESPN game day set and kind of do their own thing. Your Southeastern Lions with a big playoff game.
Yeah,
this
now,
weekend.
and let's point out, we're going to do a show Friday morning because we got plenty of things to tell you about with the Gumbo Gators and the Rougarou. But Southeastern noon kick in Strawberry Stadium on Saturday. 3.5-point favorites over an 8-4 Illinois State Redbird team. When I was at Southeastern, they played Illinois State in Hammond and beat them like 28-7. Of course, that doesn't matter for this Saturday's game. But Frank Selfo and the Lions, they've done very, very well. 9-3. They lost to LSU earlier in the year. So that'll be noon Saturday kick in Strawberry Stadium.
I mean, is there a more friendlier fella than Frank Selfo? I mean, you know what I mean? Like, he's one of those kind of beloved type figures. I think Frank Selfo, Tim Rebo, those are people that you pull for. Timmy, the retired Nichols head coach. They're just people that get it, right? They know how to. They were both great recruiters, which got them those jobs, and they're just fun people to cheer for.
Selfo's got an interesting resume. He coached with the Jacksonville Jaguars. He's got his whole family's a football thing. I played college baseball against him. He was a catcher for what was then known as Northeast Louisiana University. Of course, it's Louisiana Monroe now. In fact, he hit a couple of bombs against us in Hammond for them to beat us in a game. And hit him off of one of my friends, David Birch. You played golf with David Birch. You knew his son, David. He hit 2 bombs off of Birch. Of course, we remind Birch about that a lot.
Well, Frank Selfo, Southeastern, noon on Saturday, and they're 2.5-point favorites?
3.5. Well, it's not on all the major books, but a buddy of mine, we got tons of listeners in Jacksonville, Florida area. They found a 3.5-point line.
Okay.
So, but the line comes from some friends down in Jacksonville.
By the way, Saints this weekend at the Dolphins. Saints are a 6-point dog at the Dolphins. And for those that were wondering, because Tommy Krysan is 82 basketball games, he's going to bet 82 times against the Pelicans on the spread, no matter how it is. And the Pels had a big win at home on Monday against the Bulls. I mean, they blew them out. That's the only time they've done that this year. And you're now 9-9.
Which means I'm losing a few bucks because of the juice.
Yeah, you lose.
So, but and tonight they host the Memphis Grizzlies. Memphis a 2.5 point favorite in New Orleans, and I've already got the bet in on that to see what happens.
All right. The other news, right?
Schedule news.
Oh yeah, let's talk a little bit about that. So the schedule is out. If you go right now over to brrugaroo.com, gumbogators.com. You go to any of our social media, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You'll see we just released the schedule for the 2026 season. Opening day will be June 2nd throughout the league. Gumbo Gators will be hosting a game. The Ruger will be on the road at Acadiana for the opener. But folks can go check it out on Facebook. And then on Friday, we'll have a Black Friday sale. So starting at 12:01 a.m. on Friday, we'll have a Black Friday sale for season ticket holders for the Gumbo Gators and the Rougarou. It's very simple, Tommy. In Baton Rouge, price is only $99 for a general admission ticket. We don't have any reserve seats in Baton Rouge. We have a $99 general admission ticket. You get $35 back in a credit in an online store. So a $99 ticket, $35, you can get a hat, a T-shirt, whatever. There are lots of options. Put it towards a bigger order, but you get a code. You'll get a discount code sent to you the next day after you order your seat ticket. You got like a month, 2 months to use it. So that's for the Baton Rouge Rougarou fans. That starts 12:01 on Friday. Well, that sale will run for about 6 days, and then it'll go away forever. And then for the Gumbo Gators, we have general admission and reserve seats over in Lake Charles. So you can get your general admission ticket for $149, and you get a $50 gift card in our online store, or $399 for a reserve seat in Lake Charles. All you can eat food and drink all year long.
I know a couple people that might hurt you on that.
$399 a ticket for all you can eat food and drink for 24 games. I mean, my goodness, huh? I mean, we're giving it away.
A great deal with the Lake
and you
Charles.
Get a $100 gift card for our online store.
All right, so it'll be great Christmas gift ideas. Get some gear. Gumbogators.com, brrugaroo.com. Check out the schedule. Black Friday, going to have the ticket sales. And we're doing a show Friday morning at about 9 a.m. So we'll remind you about all that on Friday. But we do want you to check that out.
Well, one of the things this week that I'm going to be watching, Tommy, is college basketball.
Oh, wait, we got a breaking question from Casey McKenzie. When is the Rougarou Championship ring ceremony?
Well,
on the heels of talking Rougarou.
Yeah, consider it Jostens. We're waiting on them to give us a firm date on when our rings are going to be in this December, but we will be handing out rings to our players this December, assuming Casey goes and collects from all of our sponsors. But anyway, we'll be hopefully doing that in December. Looking forward to it. The rings are absolutely gorgeous. Players are going to love them, and so excited about that. But this week is all about college basketball, Tommy. You're kind of going to see, I think you're going to get a little better feel for what LSU's men's and women's are all about. By the way, McNeese continuing to keep winning. The Cowboys in basketball, 6-1 this week in tournament play. They beat George Washington in the Cayman Islands, and they beat Murray State and Middle Tennessee State. So they went 3-0 in the Cayman Islands. I mean, they are on a roll and a really, really good team. But as far as LSU basketball is concerned, the Tigers have not really had the most difficult schedule in the world, and we're going to get a chance to kind of see them step up in competition a little bit. They're heading, let me see, let me get you on Friday, I think is their first game.
They play Drake, don't they?
While I'm looking them up, I got Raging Cajuns are at home Friday night at 7 against Jackson State. Tulane's at home Friday at 2 against Nichols. And then let's see here.
Speaking of Tulane, as of right now, they're in the 12-team playoff. Now, if they beat Charlotte this week, which they're 30-point favorites, they will host the AAC championship game at Yeoman Stadium in New Orleans. And if they win that, I mean, it's not 100%, but there's a strong chance that they're the 12th seed in the college football playoffs. So pulling for the Green Wave.
So
you got some basketball?
Yeah, so I'm looking here, looking to see today when LSU's playing on Friday against Drake, as you mentioned, the Emerald Coast Classic LSU's 5-0. Drake is 4-2. They will play at 8:30 on Friday. 8:30 on Friday is when that one will happen, and then you won't know when LSU plays. The rest of the weekend after that one. For the LSU women, they have been on a historic run.
They played Duke Friday in a tournament down in the Bahamas or the Virgin Islands, one of the two. And they did their historic run, the points being scored, the records, and
6 straight games
with
scoring
100
points
plus.
on the
And
line.
I don't know if they're going to get 100 against Duke. Duke's a little better than some of the teams they've been playing. Although I don't have a scouting report on Duke, but neither basketball team has lost a game yet. Let's hope that don't change, but the competition is picking up a notch.
So LSU women, if you go online right now, you could bet $100, and you would win 1,200 on them to win the SEC championship.
That's
They're the third.
value.
They're the third best odds in the league. The heavy favorite is South Carolina, and then Texas is second. LSU's plus 1,200. They were plus 2,000 2 weeks ago when I got it. I put
Okay.
$50 on them to win the SEC championship at plus 2,000. That's down to 1,200. Still, I think a good value there. If you really believe in this team, I know Casey McKenzie, who's watching or whatever, he really does. He loves them. This LSU women's basketball team is 10 deep. It hasn't been that deep ever, and since Kim Mulkey's been at LSU, that's what gives you a lot of hope with this team, because that's what South Carolina did to you. They'd wear you down when you're 5, 6 deep. They're going 10 deep. LSU can do that. So I think there's some value at plus 1,200 to win the SEC
Well, and you
championship.
got Kim Mulkey, who's one of the greatest women's college basketball coaches or college basketball coaches ever. Her resume speaks for itself. So if there's some adversity, she'll know exactly how to handle it.
Yeah.
And I mean in the coming months.
By the way, little programming note: I'm dusting off my high school football color analyst chops this Friday night.
Where are you going to be?
Gary Beckwith, he's pulling the Hunter McCann.
Or is it? It's more than 26 miles away. The game.
Yeah, actually, it isn't. So I believe there's something really happening here. But
we need he and Hunter's vacation package, huh?
It's whatever. It's Thanksgiving, Scout, whatever. But so Friday night, I'm doing Madison Prep at U High.
Okay.
So I'll be doing that game. Madison Prep at U High. I'll tell you more about it on Friday morning. But yeah, having to get the game notes. Going to learn a little bit about U High, Madison Prep. I know they're both two really good teams. The game will be over at LSU's campus on Friday night. Looking forward to that. Usually, I'm at a St. Thomas More game. Whether it be my niece, who's was a dancer there, or my cousin, my nephew AJ, who just played his last high school football game, but. No St. Thomas More at this point in the playoffs. They got eliminated last week by John Curtis. I'll get a chance. I'm looking forward to the Dome to see Carr. You've been hearing about Carr High School as arguably one of the best high school football teams in the state of Louisiana history. And looking forward to seeing them in the Dome in December.
We know Gary Beckwith's seen them play a couple of times, and what he has told me, they don't make mistakes. Very few penalties. If they played one game and didn't have a penalty earlier this year. And, Coach Bryce Brown, the players walk in the stadium in single file line, helmet in the right hand hanging straight down from your shoulder. Left arm's got to be in a certain spot. Tons of structure. And by the way, they're a darn good football team who will probably win state in their division.
All right, TK, I'm going to get my sides over here.
You got to get your side dishes and
tell folks about your minds before we get out.
Well, we want to tell everybody happy Thanksgiving. There's a tremendous selection of wine, bourbon, liquor here that you can take to wherever you're going or at your house for the weekend. Don't forget, we will be back on the. There we go. Ronnie's got some. Ooh, that's good choice. So we will be doing a show Friday morning, even though it's the day after Thanksgiving. Tell you about that ticket sale for the Rougarou and the Gumbo Gators. Ronnie and I'll do the show Friday morning. Of course, radio Saturdays, 12:30 to 2:30. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone.
Casey's favorite.
19
Crimes. That's his favorite one.
Okay, 19 Crimes is what Casey likes to drink. Casey, I'm going to get you a bottle of that, okay? That'll be the present from TK. All right, thank you for stopping by. Ronnie's going to load up on some side dishes, and we'll be back Friday morning. Once again, look, happy Thanksgiving to everybody, family, friends, whatever you're doing, co-workers. It's a great time. It's my favorite holiday. I'll be at my daughter's house in Covington with a bunch of people. I'm looking forward to that. Of course, there's 3 football games. And then, of course, Friday, Ole Miss plays in the morning. I don't know if Saturday morning we do the radio, we might have Lane Kiffin news for you. All right, don't forget Southeastern noon Saturday in Strawberry Stadium against Illinois State. Go check that one out on Saturday if you're in the Hammond area. On behalf of Ronnie Rance, here we go. Okay, it's at Pro Dreams. Trey Ledbetter shouting you out, Casey, for the ring ceremony. The ring ceremony. I'm in that number to get a ring. Can't wait. All right, on behalf of Ronnie Rance, Mike, and the entire crew here at a very busy Tremonti's Meat and Seafood, happy Thanksgiving, everyone. I'm Tommy Christ. We'll speak to you on Friday morning.